Oh, hello everybody in Year 1. It's really lovely to be with you again. I'm going to introduce the writing activity for this week, which is going to be retelling a fairy tale. And hopefully you remember that a fairy tale is a special story where lots of weird and wonderful things happen, and there are lots and lots of them for you to choose from. I'm going to pick my favourite fairy tale, which is Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Before we begin writing, if you remember, the first job we have is to write our story plan. So if you come round and have a look, hopefully you recognise this story mountain plan. We have the beginning of the story at the bottom of the mountain, coming up to the events of the middle of the story at the top of the mountain, and then coming back down the mountain to the end of the story where everything gets sorted out. So we're going to start at the very beginning because that's a very good place to start. And the beginning of the story introduces the setting and it introduces some of the characters. So I'm going to draw the cottage, which is where the three bears live. So you have to bear with me. I'm just going to be drawing this very quickly. So there's the bear's cottage and it's in a woods. So I'll quickly draw some trees to show that we are in the woods, and then we need to meet the three bears, don't we? So first of all we've got Daddy Bear, here he is. All right, and then we'll meet Mummy Bear. Not sure what she looks like. Here she is. Here's Mummy Bear, and then we've got Baby Bear, all excited because they've decided to go out for a walk. And the reason they've gone out for a walk is that they've made some delicious porridge, haven't they? But it's too hot, so they decide to leave it to cool down and go out for a walk. Now, if you remember, we just jot down key words, don't we? So I'm going to write down woods. I'm going to write down porridge. I'm not writing full sentences, okay, because this is just the plan. Just writing down the key words. So woods, porridge, and the three bears, okay? So we're going to move up the story mountain now and come to the middle part of the story, which is where all the exciting events happen. And we meet another character. Here she is. We're going to meet with her long curly hair. We're going to meet Goldilocks with her rosy cheeks. Her cheeks were rosy, but Goldilocks was rather nosy, wasn't she? And she decides to go into the three bears' cottage. The first thing she sees are the three steaming hot bowls of porridge. She decides to taste them, and she finds that it's Baby Bears that she finds delicious. So I'll cross that out to show that Goldilocks ate that all up. So these are the bowls of porridge. Okay, then Goldilocks moves into the living room, doesn't she? And she sees Daddy Bear's big chair. She sees Mummy Bear's middle-sized chair, and she sees Baby Bear's tiny chair. And she tries them all, but when she sits in Baby Bear's chair, it gets broken. So I'm going to cross that out to show it's broken, and I'm going to write that those are the chairs. So she carries on up the stairs, and she comes to the beds. She finds Daddy Bear's big bed. She finds Mummy Bear's middle-sized bed, but it's Baby Bear's little bed that she finds really comfy, and zzz, Goldilocks falls asleep. So I'm going to write the word beds, and I'm going to write asleep. Okay. Oh, and I better put that this is Goldilocks, hadn't I? Goldilocks. There we go. Okay, so that's what happens in the middle of the story. I'm now going to come down the mountain to the end, and The beginning of the end is when the three bears come back to their cottage after their walk, and they are not very pleased with what they find because they see that their porridge has been eaten. They see that their chairs have been sat on. There we are, and poor old baby bear is crying his eyes out because his porridge has been completely eaten, and his chair, let's do some tears for him, his chair has been completely broken. So there's his bowl of porridge and it's all gone. There's his chair and it is broken. So the bears come upstairs quietly, 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 and there they find in baby bear's bed Goldilocks. Let's do her curly hair, and she's fast asleep. But when she hears the commotion, Daddy Bear shouting, Baby Bear crying, she leaps out of bed, runs down the stairs, she throws open the front door and runs away down the path, never to go into the woods again. And that's the end of the story. Now, just before we finish, you might just want to add some really good story vocabulary. So I'm going to use the story phrase that all fairy tales start with, which is once upon a time. I'm also going to use my favourite story word, suddenly, which we will remember means that something exciting is about to happen. So suddenly Goldilocks comes across the three bears' cottage in the woods. And I'm also going to use the story phrase after a while, because that's when the three bears return to their cottage, but you could use a little while later or something like that. Then I'm also just going to jot down happily ever after, because that's how most fairy tales finish. So there we have it. Here's our story plan. All right, so this is your activity that you're going to do this morning or this afternoon, whenever you decide to do it. You might decide that Little Red Riding Hood is your favourite fairy tale, or maybe The Gingerbread Man, or The Three Little Pigs, or Jack and the Beanstalk, or if you want to, you can magpie me and use Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Now, when you've done your story plan, don't lose it, keep it somewhere safe, because on Tuesday you're going to write the beginning of the story, on Wednesday you're going to write the middle part of the story, and on Thursday you're going to write the ending. So your plan will help you remember what happens in each part of the story. So good luck. I hope you really enjoy this activity, and I know that we can't wait to read and see what you've done, and hopefully you'll be able to email in your stories. Okay, take care, lovely to see you, bye.